Hi everyone, it's Shannon and welcome to today's video. So you can tell I am not wearing any blush, and that is because I got all 6 shades of the new Milani Cheek Kiss. So it's the Milani Cheek Kiss Blush and Glow. This is brand new. The first shade is going to be Luminoso, which is one of their most popular blush shades. And I actually thought it was, they have another like blush highlight that they came out with, and they only came out with the Luminoso shade. I purchased that. Wasn't a fan. It was really sheer and it was more of a highlight than a blush. So I actually thought this was an extension of that, but it's not. I did look on their website and that's a separate product. I'm curious. I wasn't even gonna buy the Luminoso shade because I thought, oh, you know, it's the same product and I didn't like it. I decluttered it, but it's not. So anyway, so I got all 6 shades. These go on sale on September 15th at Ulta, and then in store in Ulta on September 22nd. They did have an early access for Diamond and Platinum members, so I took advantage and I purchased all 6 shades. So I do really like the contour and the highlight. I thought they were really good for drugstore. Are they, you know, I am going to compare them to the Charlotte Tilbury because these are obviously what they are. They're a dupe for that. So I'm going to compare the shades, or at least some of the shades. However, you know, the quality is I don't think is going to be, you know, comparable. But these are $12.99 full price, and those are $42. So yeah, you're gonna save a lot of money. Like I was able to get all 6 shades, and I did have like a coupon through Ulta, but pretty much all 6 shades for less than what 2 of those would have cost, and probably even a little bit less than that. So yeah, so let's get into these products. Okay, as I already mentioned, these are $12.99 full price, and it states Milani Cheek Kiss Liquid Blush and Glow combines blush and highlighter into a buildable, blendable hybrid formula for a soft focus kiss of luminous color. There are 6 shades. So the 6 shades are Luminoso, which is a peach, Pink Cava, which is a pale warm pink, Dolce Pink, a bright cool pink, Rosalia, a berry pink, Cafe, which is a nude, and Canela, which is cinnamon. So again, I purchased all 6 shades. These were not gifted to me. I am not on Milani's PR, but I don't do a lot of drugstore products, but Milani is one of those drugstore brands that I do really like, and I am, you know, sometimes curious, and I like doing these types of videos. So what I'm going to do is I am going to try these on and film me putting it on, and then come back with, when I come back, I will have each shade. So I'll be able to talk about each shade, how it applied, and then, but it will be, you know, kind of B-roll of me putting it on. Now, I do want to talk about the actual packaging. So the packaging is very similar to all the other ones. The thing with these is that they don't turn off, and that's one of the things I don't like about them. So I don't necessarily recommend traveling with them, but they have that same sponge. So you just want to be careful with them, because if you happen to like something gets in it and it goes like, you know, it smashes it, all that product's going to come out. And this sponge, I don't like it in the Charlotte Tilbury either. I hate that. I liked the ones that were like the Milani liquid blushes that are kind of like dupes for, I think, the Glossier. Those were actually really good. So I am excited about this, but this is the Luminoso shade, and I have heard they're going to be sheer. I am hopeful, but that's the Luminoso shade. So let's go ahead and try them. I will show swatches at the end. The swatches will be in natural sunlight, and then I will also do some comparisons to the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light ones. Now, before I start trying them on, I do want to show this before I start using them. Each of them has a little hole at the top. That's something that I don't remember in the contour and the highlight. I like that because the 2 that I've just swatched came out really, really nice. So I do think that that makes a big difference as far as it coming out really easily. So you just want to make sure you don't, there you go. So you want to make sure you don't, you know, push it too hard, because it will come out and have too much product. But I do like that it has that little hole. I just don't remember that in the other one. So if someone remembers it and says, yeah, they've changed it, or it is like that, maybe I'm wrong. But leave it in the comments below. But I do like that with these blushes. Okay, so I have the first two shades on, and we're going to start with Luminoso, which is the first shade. This is 110 Luminoso. It is described as a peach, and you will see here, it went on really nice. This is definitely a very pale shade, and it blends out really nicely. I don't think it looks patchy. It's just very, very sheer. So if you have maybe a bold eye look, then this is a really pretty shade. It I think looks really nice. You can build it up, but you're gonna need a lot of product for that. So just keep that in mind. I do like it a little bit more than the blush highlight, the other Luminoso. I didn't like that one at all. I ended up decluttering it. This is a little better. This is definitely a little better. It has a little bit more color. Not that much though. Pretty much the same shade though. So if you have that one and you like it, then you'll probably like this. If you have that one and you think it's, you know, too sheer or too pale like I did, then I wouldn't purchase this one. I would say maybe one of the deeper shades. I think I will like the deeper shades more, but this shade is just a little pale for me. And then next up is Pink Kava, and Pink Kava is described as a pale warm pink. So these are both very pale. So one's a pink, they're both on the warm side because this is a warm pink. The next shade will be a cooler pink, but it's a really pretty shade. I actually, even though this one is a little bit more sheer than, it's sheerer than the other ones and light, I actually really like this one. And I think this is probably very comparable to Pinkasm, but I like this more than I probably like Pinkasm. Pinkasm is not my favorite. I tend to mix it, and I will show some swatches later on, but I thought this blended out really nicely. I could see myself again wearing this with a bold eye look. So if you like a sheer glowy blush, then this is and you want a pink, like a warm pink, this is probably a really good shade. Now if you do want something a little bit deeper, definitely wait for some of the other shades. I think there's a berry, and the next is a cool pink. So those are seems to be a little bit deeper just from the swatches that I did, but this is Pink Kava. Okay, so this is going to be 130 Dolce Pink. This is described as a bright, cool pink, and it's definitely the coolest shade. It's really pretty. I'm not one of a cool toned. I like neutral, leaning warm, but I think it's a really pretty pink. Definitely, if you like cooler tones, this is going to be your pick. I prefer, of the two pinks, I prefer Pink Kava just because I like warm pinks. But if I was wearing like cool tones, this is something I would definitely gravitate towards. So this is 130 Dolce Pink. And then this is 140 Rosalia, which is a berry pink. And this one, for some reason, doesn't have as much of a glow. So I don't know, and you'll definitely see it in the swatches. I don't know if it's mine that maybe just doesn't have enough glow, and maybe it's just a little defective. I don't mind it. It's not like it's matte, but it just has a lot less glow than the others. Or if maybe that's just the way the shade is. So either way, I really like it. If you're like me and you like more of a power to your punch or to blush, like I want my blush to show up, this is a good shade, especially if you want a pink. It's just, if you like the shade, I'll show you the next two shades. I think I'm gonna like the last three shades. So this one, and then the Cafe and the Candela are the three that I think I'm gonna like, just because they do have a little bit more punch to them, and these do sheer out quite a bit. So if you are looking for more of a opaque blush, that's something that doesn't sheer out, then I would recommend 140 Rosalia. Okay, so this cheek is going to be 150 Cafe, which is described as a nude. And this one is very similar in tone to Luminoso, but I like this one better. I don't know why. I like the way it shows up, it applies, it's definitely buildable, but I just really like this nude. And again, they're very similar in tone, but I just like the Cafe one a little bit more. And then finally we have Canela, which is 160 Canela. This is described as cinnamon. So you can see this one definitely has it showed up the most. It's definitely the deepest by far. This is very comparable, and I'm going to show you some swatches in a second, to Pink Gasm Sunset. And that's my favorite of the Beauty Light ones. I absolutely love that one on the cheeks and as a blush. And this is probably my favorite of all 6. I actually like these more than I thought. But the cinnamon, I just think it's a gorgeous shade. It's very similar to the Pink Gasm Sunset. So this is definitely my favorite, and this is Canela. Okay, so let's talk about these blushes. I am pleasantly surprised with these. I was kind of hesitant of whether or not I should buy them to review them, because I just did not like that blush highlight that was the Luminoso. But my guess is they didn't extend that line, and they came out with, you know, a new product that's very, very similar. But the stuff that I didn't like about Luminoso was it was just very, very pale, and it was more of a highlight than a blush. This is definitely more of a blush than a highlight. In fact, when I swatch them next to the Charlotte Tilbury, these have a little less glow than the Charlotte Tilbury, and I like that. I actually like that. So very, very happy with these. I'm really pleasantly surprised. So let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches. So first up are the swatches just of these in natural light, and from left to right you have Luminoso, Pink Cava, Dolce Pink, Rosalia, Cafe, and Canela. And you can see that my Rosalia and even Canela don't have as much glow, especially Rosalia. I don't know if it's just maybe the one I got, or if it just one has a little bit less glow. I don't not like it because of that, but I just noticed that, so I don't know if that's just mine or if they're all like that. Next up, here are some swatches compared to some of the Charlotte Tilbury shades. So the first shade is the Charlotte Tilbury Peach Gasm, and then the next shade is the Luminoso, so 110 Luminoso. The third shade is 150 Cafe, which is the nude, and the last shade is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Medium Beauty Light Wand. So it's got a little bit more peach than the nude, but you can see the comparison here between Luminoso and Cafe. Cafe I just really loved on the cheek. It's the nude. Luminoso is just a little too pale in my opinion, but you can see there's really not that much comparison between. These are very similar to those shades. Luminoso is definitely lighter than Peach Gasm, and then Pillow Talk Medium is just very different from all of them. And then finally, we're going to compare the rest of the shades to the other two Charlotte Tilbury. So the first one is going to be Charlotte Tilbury Pink Gasm. So that is Charlotte Tilbury Pink Gasm. Then the second shade is 120 Pink Cava. That is I think the one that's the closest. It's not as deep and as opaque as Pink Gasm, but I think it's very similar in shade and tone. It's probably going to be the most comparable. Then you have Dolce Pink, which is definitely a cool tone, not similar at all, very, very different. Then the fourth one is Rosalia, which is 140 Rosalia, which is a berry pink, again, not comparable. And you can see here, it's got a little bit of glow, but very different type of glow. And then the last two shades, the first one of those is going to be Canela, which is the cinnamon. And then the last one is going to be Peach Gasm Sunset. These two are the ones I think are the closest. There's some subtle differences, but they're definitely the closest. So those are the swatch comparisons between Charlotte Tilbury, and then also just between all the shades. Okay, so there you saw the comparisons and the swatches. Now I did want to just show you the comparison as far as sizing. So they look like they're quite, a lot smaller than the Charlotte Tilbury Beauty Light wands. However, it's only 2 milliliters. So this is 12 milliliters and this is 10 milliliters. So it's a little less product than these, but it's not considerable. And even then, like, you have the minis that they've come out with usually in sets. I actually really like these. But these are 5 milliliters and this is 10, so it's half the size. So just keep that in mind, because I think right now that there's a set that's $32 for 2, and it's still that brings us out to $16. So this is a really good price for these. $12.99, and there's usually like at least sometimes a sale. Like I said, there's a sale that I used I think I had like $10 or something, or $15 off $50. You know, at Ulta when I bought them, a lot of times you'll have buy one get second, you know, second product 50% off. So there's always a sale. So that's what I would say is recommend is getting them, you know, waiting for a sale. I think my favorite one is going to be cinnamon, or the, I'm sorry, going to be Canela, which is the cinnamon. I really like that one. I also really liked Cafe. So I really, and I probably like Rosalia. So I think I like the 3 darker ones more, just because they have a little bit more pigment. But there isn't one that I don't like. Probably my least favorite is Luminoso, just because it's just very, very pale. But I really like all of them, and I'm surprised, because I really thought that I was not gonna like them just because of the other product. But I think that they made some changes, the things that were wrong with that product or that I didn't like, and they made some improvements and they came out with these. So I think the shades are good, the shades are unique. You got some cool tones, some warm tones, some neutral tones, really pretty. So I think they're really great. So definitely recommend them. I recommend getting them on a sale, because I think $13, you know, you can definitely get them on a good sale. They'll be on sale on Ulta September 15th, and then in store on September 22nd. So with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.